Hello everyone! So we have just a couple more minutes before we get started into our chair yoga class. You don't really need any specific props, just a chair that you have. And you can really get creative with what you do have. It doesn't have to be a specific chair, just one that feels safe and stable to you. And know that everything that is offered in this class is just an offering. You can really take what it is that you need and leave the rest. You know your body best. You have your own unique relationship with your nervous system, with your breath, with your physical body. And so I'm going to trust that you're going to take good care of yourself, taking only what you need, leaving the rest. This class is an offering of Toivo, an initiative of Advocacy Unlimited. And know that as we practice yoga, as we move our physical bodies, or as we tap into this practice of breath work, mindfulness, meditation, sometimes all kinds of emotions can arise. And just know that whatever comes up for you is normal. Oftentimes we think that we're only allowed to feel good feelings when we come into these practices, and really the practice shows us that life is always ebbing and flowing, right? Sensations, all kinds of emotions, the ones that we consider good, the ones that we consider bad, are always rising and falling. And the practice really is to learn how to breathe through those fluctuations, not to change them or to judge them or to feel less than because of them, but to simply make our way through. And it is a practice, so we'll be really compassionate, really gentle. All right, so before we get started, just notice that I have a mat here. This is only here so that I can sit a little closer to you before we begin. You don't need a mat under you. Maybe there's a carpet under you. Maybe it's just hardwood floor. So really, again, get creative with what you have. Don't feel like you can't do it because you don't have enough. Another option here for a couple poses, or just one pose that I have in mind, is a towel. It's a little bit longer so that we can wrap it around our leg. But again, this is just an option. And know that this class as well is something that you can come back to at another time, or maybe you're not joining in now, but you're catching this class at a different time. And so come back to it when you have more time to play around with the different props or maybe a different setup. All right, so to begin, I want to read you a little bit of the book called The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And this is called The Chick Being Born. It says, every crack is also an opening. When in the midst of great change, it is helpful to remember how a chick is born. From the view of a chick, it's a terrifying struggle. Confined and curled in a dark shell, half formed, the chick eats all its food and stretches to the contours of its shell, and it begins to feel hungry and cramped. Eventually, the chick begins to starve and feel suffocated by the ever-shrinking space of its world. And finally, in its own growth, it begins to crack the shell, and the world, as the chick knows it, is coming to an end. Its sky is falling. As the chick wriggles through the cracks, it begins to eat its shell. And in that moment, growing but fragile, starving and cramped, its world breaking, the chick must feel like it is dying. And yet once everything it has relied on falls away, the chick is born. It doesn't die, but falls into the world. The lesson is profound. Transformation always involves the falling away of things we have relied on, and we are left with a feeling that the world as we know it is coming to an end, because it is. Yet the chick offers us the wisdom that the way to be born, while still alive, is to eat our own shell. When faced with great change in self, in relationship, in our sense of calling, we somehow must take in all that has enclosed us, nurtured us, incubated us, so when the new life is upon us, the old is within us. My friends, what is it that you are letting go of today? What is it that you are stepping into? And know that most of these answers don't come with a language or a verbal answer. They are often feelings that we have in our body. All right, so let's come to our chair. Let's come to our chair. So go ahead and let your feet touch the ground. Now, if your feet don't touch the ground, you might want to consider another chair, or you can use a couple props to bring the floor to you. So here I have a towel, and that provides just a little extra height. You may even need a little bit more. Maybe you use a book. But having the feet fully connected to the ground is such a beautiful practice in feeling supported. And feeling that connection with the earth. So for a moment, just in the way that a cat kind of needs, right, maybe into the carpet or into your leg, you just kind of press the feet one at a time into the ground. Maybe spread the toes a little bit wide. Maybe rock towards the toes and then to the heels. Maybe explore the outside edges of the feet. And for a moment, just take your hands down your thighs, just giving a gentle squeeze. Sometimes this gentle touch to our own body can be a way to connect back. I know in my own life when I'm having anxious feelings, I lose the connection to my limbs, right? All the blood is flowing to different parts of the body. And so we lose connection to the limbs. And so we can bring this gentle connection back by gently rubbing the legs, just a gentle touch. If you can go down the shins. You may not be able to reach, and that's okay. You just stay where you can. Beautiful. And then we'll just take it to the fingers. Just for a moment, rub your palms together. Take one of your hands and just kind of rub up the arm, your opposite arm. So here I have my left hand kind of just taking long strokes up the long bones. You can also create little circles at the wrists, at the elbows, taking it all the way up to the shoulder. Maybe even a little squeeze at the top of the shoulder, the neck. And then come to the other side. Just take your hand, right hand, up the left arm, long strokes towards the heart, up the long bones, and maybe circles at the joints. Maybe a little squeeze at the shoulder. Maybe you find that sweet spot, maybe a couple spots of tension or tightness there. It doesn't have to be hard. It could be a very gentle touch. Beautiful. And for a moment, just take your hand on your chest. Give a little circle there. You can stay with the circle, but you might also want to explore just a gentle tapping. You can kind of move around the chest, stimulate the lungs. Beautiful. And when you're ready, take the hands to the belly. Just a little circle there. Just a little circle. Beautiful. And take your hands back down to your thighs. For a moment, just feel your sitting bones on the chair. So just feel your sitting bones. And then if you can, sit yourself back just so that you can feel the chair against your back. And maybe even just press like one side in and then the other, right? So we're just, in the same way that we gently brought awareness of physical touch to the front of the body, you can start to do that with the back of the body. I know in my own life, when I first came into this practice, like no connection to the back of my body, right? We're very forward in our society right now. Many of us are hunched over screens, and so we lose connection to the back of the body. So just gently feel that there. Beautiful. And then slowly begin to settle. And maybe you keep leaning back, or maybe you sit up shoulders over hips. Let the crown of the head reach nice and tall, creating length in the spine now. Take a deep breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just take a few more rounds on your own, starting to come into this fuller, deeper breath. And just keep in mind that taking a fuller, deeper breath is not always the comfortable way to breathe, right? Especially if you've been breathing shallow for quite some time. So be really gentle. Just start to lengthen the breath. Start to draw the breath a little bit more into the belly. Belly will expand, ribs and chest. As you exhale, navel can gently draw in and up, the ribs deflate, and the chest drops down. Breathing in. And out. Beautiful. Now when you are ready, we'll take our hands to heart center, and maybe the breath begins to settle now into just a very natural, rhythmic flow, nothing to force in or out. And there's a gentle pressure between the palms. You feel your feet connected to the ground, your sitting bones to the chair, the spine long. Take a moment to set an intention for your practice. What brings you here into practice today? Is there something that you'd like for yourself? Maybe there is a hope for others, a group of people, or the world. Know that there is enough for everyone. And know that whatever it is that you hope for yourself, I hope it for you too. We are in this together. And we'll seal that intention. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. One more of those breaths. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Nice. Let out those sighs. All right, take the hands down. Find a little movement in the shoulders, up to the ears, back and down. Up to the ears, back and down. Really slow. A couple rolls forward. And one more time, let's roll to the back. Up, squeeze back and down. Maybe you link the breath, inhale up. Exhale down. You can breathe in and out of the nose if that's accessible. I'll often breathe out just so that you can hear what the breath, sounds like, kind of a cue to keep breathing. Beautiful, but there is benefit of breathing through the nostrils if accessible. You can drop your left ear to the left shoulder. And whatever pose we find ourselves in, we fill that shape with the breath. You can visualize the breath kind of traveling and filling the shape. Let's come to the other side. You might notice some pops and creaks. I know I do. And just notice if the shoulders start to lift, can you gently drop them down? And if you're tight in there, just be gentle. Maybe you even take the hand back there, right? Give that little massage. Take a deep breath. Let's come one more time to each side. Maybe you notice a difference between one side and the other. Just becoming aware of what it is that we feel in our body. It's such a beautiful place to be in our practice. We are forever learning, forever reconnecting with our bodies as they change from moment to moment. And what you might need in one moment might be different than the next. So be compassionate, flexible. Let the head come back up. Roll out your jaw. Other direction. You may even want to take your fingertips to the jaw. Kind of let the jaw open a little bit so that you can find that space in between. Maybe even take the fingertips underneath the jawline, just tracing the jawbone. Just notice, if you ever notice that you're holding your breath, just you can come back to the breath. Slow and steady, draw the breath in a little bit deeper. Let out a nice exhale, maybe a sigh. Beautiful. Let's let the hands come down. Go ahead and roll out that left ankle. And be really gentle to start. And again, you know your body best. So if you've had injury in a certain joint or a part of the body, maybe you don't do that side at all, or maybe you are just extra mindful, compassionate there, and roll in the opposite direction. Maybe you splay the toes nice and wide, press out through the ball of the foot, bend and straighten at the knee. Beautiful. Let's come to the other side. Plant that left foot, right leg rises, roll out that ankle. Welcome those pops and creaks. Roll in one direction and the other. Nice. Splay those toes, press out through the ball of the foot, kind of like you're pressing all the way from your hip to your front toe ball mounds there. Maybe bend and straighten at the knee. Beautiful. And when you're ready, drop the foot. Let's inhale, let your arms rise, sweep to the sides and up. Maybe the palms come together. You're really gentle here. If you need to stop somewhere, right, let that be enough, right? Let me just be a guide. Let my body be a guide. And as you exhale, you'll take your hands down to heart center. And then we'll inhale, let the arms come up halfway. Take a deep breath. Exhale, drop them down. Okay. Inhale, arms rise all the way, palms can touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise halfway. Exhale, lower. And we'll take that path a few times. Inhale, arms rise, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise up halfway. Reach out in opposite directions. Exhale, lower. Inhale, arms rise. Hands to heart center. Inhale, come up halfway. Reach in opposite directions. Exhale, lower. Take about 5 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, come up halfway, reach in opposite directions. Exhale, lower. arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, lower. Few more. Inhale, arms rise. Maybe look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, halfway. Reach out. Exhale, lower. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, arms rise. Hands to heart center. Exhale. Inhale, come up halfway. Reach out. Lower down. Last one. Inhale, arms rise. Reach up. Maybe you look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Gently press those palms together. Inhale, come up halfway. Reach out in opposite directions. And exhale, lower. Beautiful. Let the hands just come back to the knees for a moment, or the thighs. This mountain pose in chair. Feet gently press into the ground. Feel your sitting bones to the chair, spine long. The heart is open, right? So if you feel like you're rounding, see if you can gently adjust, gently open the heart. And maybe it's just a little bit, right? It'll take time to open, and that's okay. Let your chin be parallel to the chair and parallel to the ground. So we're really owning our space, owning the posture, stepping fully into our worth here. That was one of the things that really brought me to yoga personally. I just looked down a lot. I didn't feel very worthy, and yoga reminded me to lift my chin and to step into my worthiness. So I hope I can share a little bit of that with you today. Take a deep breath here. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to let our arms rise just like we did before, halfway. Now go ahead and lift your right palm up towards the sky, and just again reach out in opposite directions. Feel your feet to the ground, hips to the chair, reach up through the crown of the head, find length in the neck. Now maybe you stay here, or you can start to reach to the left, right? It doesn't have to be far. You don't want to fall out of the chair. Just a little reach. Take one more breath here. And then slowly come back to center, palms face down. Roll out the wrists. So you might notice that even just holding the arms here is quite a bit of work. That's okay. It's good to challenge our muscles, to build some strength. Reverse that direction if you haven't. Now see if you can hang here. If you need to let the arms down for a rest, do that. Otherwise, flip your right palm up. Maybe you stay here breathing, or you can reach over to the right. See if you can keep a long neck, right? You have a tendency to drop down or pull forward. Stay up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. Slowly come back to center. Both palms face up. Arms rise as you inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take your hands down to your thighs. Roll your shoulders. And we'll take that one more time, that halfway. Beautiful. Let the shoulders melt down the back. Arms rise up halfway. You're going to turn your left palm up. Maybe you stay here. Plant your feet so there's connection and strength happening in the lower part of the body. Not that you want to be completely tight or clenched, right? But just feeling an awareness there. You're strong and stable so that you can gently shift over to the side. Okay. And you're only going as far as feels right. Maybe a stretch in the side of the body here. Long neck. Take a deep breath. When you're ready, come back to center. Palms face down. Roll out your wrists. Opposite direction. arms might be getting tired. It's okay to do a little bit of work. Okay, now you can stay here. You can take the arms down at any point to give a little bit of rest. Right palm faces up. Shift over to the right. Keep your hip planted. So if you started to lift, plant it down so that you get that length in the side of the body and then length in the neck. Reach. Come back to center. Keep those arms lifted if you can. Palm faces up. Arms rise on an inhale. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Woo. I love when simple movements really start to build heat. We start to feel this connection to them through simple movement. It doesn't have to be grand or fast. Take the hands down, roll out those shoulders. Beautiful. Now let's come into a twist. So let the shoulders relax down the back. We're going to let our arms rise. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to the left. Now it'll really depend on your mobility, right? Your flexibility here, and even this position of your chair. I have a high back chair. I have quite long arms, so my arm fits over. You might be in front of it, or maybe you're not even turned that far, right? The hand can just stay to the side, or it can reach back. The gaze can look forward, to the side, or even to look back at that left arm. Feel your feet to the ground. Now breathe into this shape. You can always let the breath be your guide. If you can't breathe in a pose, right, how can you come out so that you can find that full deep breath? When you're ready, we're going to come back to center. Arms rise, reach up, look up, maybe the palms touch. And exhale, twist it right to the other side. Now this side's totally different, so be gentle here. You might need a different variation. Wherever you are, feel the feet to the ground. Notice if you've started to lift your feet. I know that I do this when I'm not feeling very grounded. Let those feet really plant into Mother Earth. And now take 2 more deep breaths here. Breathe into the shape that you're creating. Breathe into the twist. You may notice that as you breathe, now you start to feel like, okay, this is where I'm twisting. The breath really is the guide to the practice. It's the foundational component to our yoga practice. None of the movements mean anything without the breath. In yoga, we talk about bringing in life force prana into the body. As we breathe, we're revitalizing, giving back, nourishing. One more. Beautiful. Come back to center. Now let's find a little bit of a flow. As you exhale, come to one side. It's okay if you've moved to a different side. Up and down as you twist. So just a little quicker now. Rise on an inhale, twist on the exhale. Let's do one more each side. Beautiful. And come back to center. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Take the hands down. Go ahead and once again lift your left leg. Roll out that ankle. Little bend and straighten at the knee. Now, see if you can gently lift that left leg. It doesn't have to be as high as this. You might be lower. It's actually quite a bit of work to lift the leg in this position while we're sitting. Right? We're really asking our psoas muscle to participate here. So just hold here for a couple breaths. Now, if you can take the hand to the knee and you can gently find a hip circle. If you want a little support here, You can always take a towel. You can kind of roll it in this long fold. And however you get there, maybe you just thread it under, right? You can use it as an extension of your arm. And then you can help the circle there. It feels quite nice. It's kind of like cradling the leg. And you just try to sit up nice and tall in the rest of the body. And then when you're ready, you reverse the direction. Beautiful. And slowly let's come to the other side. So just lift to start. Just lift to start. Maybe you start to feel more of a connection with the core. Draw the navel into the spine. Press your left foot into the ground. Maybe you gently draw those right toes to the right knee. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. And then slowly find that circle in the hip. Beautiful. Maybe you're using the towel here, right? Other direction. When you are ready, we'll slowly lower it down. So you might want to scoot forward a little bit here onto the edge of your chair. It will be different for everyone. We all have different length legs here. But you're going to extend your left leg out and gently draw your left toes to your left knee. And you'll really be able to feel what's best for you, how far you are sitting forward. I have to come quite far so that I can feel comfortable in the back of my leg and the bottom of my glute. Okay? And so maybe you stay here sitting up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. If you'd like, you can even start to begin to fold forward. And I'm noticing that my chair is quite hard. So this might be better for me to put a little cushion there. You might find the same. And just notice that we don't have to be so fluid between movements, right? Sometimes that's really nice to practice, and other times it's more about creating a safe nest for us to explore and grow. Like, take time to set the props, right? Yeah. And so maybe you fold forward. Notice that I'm keeping a nice flat back. I'm not trying to force the fold by rounding forward, right? That's plenty of stretch. That's plenty of stretch. Really stretching the fascia from the tip of the toe all the way to the back of the leg, up to the crown of the head. Take a deep breath. Start to rise back up. We'll do the other side. Extend that right leg, and maybe this is enough. I know the edge of the chair is kind of giving me quite a little bit of pressure into that spot, which feels tight in my own body. So notice that you can use the chair to kind of gently massage into different parts of the body, just like we did with the back. Right now you can use the edge of the chair to maybe release some tightness in the hamstrings. And if you'd like more sensation, you'll sit up nice and tall and start to fold it forward. The toes gently draw towards the knee as a way to help protect the knee. Keeping the back nice and straight, the neck nice and long. Take a deep breath. And we'll slowly rise back up. Beautiful. Come back to center here. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, let's fold it forward. So notice I'm folding forward like this, but you may stop halfway, right? You might be a little bit lower, maybe hands to shins. Otherwise, you may be really low. Wherever you are, see if you can kind of shake out those shoulders, shake out the head. And just because you can't make your way down deeper into the pose doesn't mean that you're doing it any less or that it is not as good. It's just another variation. And there is benefit to supporting our bodies and opening nice and slow, just like we talked about, or Mark Nepo shared in the book, just letting that little chicken crack out of the egg in its own time, its own pace. It wasn't forced open. Maybe a little sway, a little shake of the head, yes and no. And when you're ready, we'll start to slowly roll up. Beautiful. Inhale, arms rise. Hands to heart center. We will take a little flow here. Inhale, arms rise. Fold it forward. Stop where it feels right for you. As you inhale, start to come back up. Nice and slow. Lift your left leg. Lower with the exhale. Inhale, right. Lower with the exhale. Now both legs lift. Arms lift. Exhale, drop it all back down. A few more. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, left arm, or left leg. Lower with the exhale. Right leg lifts. Lower. Both legs, both arms, reach out. Exhale, lower down. A few more. Inhale. Fold it forward. Inhale, rise up. Take that left leg with you. Lower. Right. Lower. Let everything lift. Reach out. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time. Inhale, maybe a little quicker. Lower, forward, fold. Rise up, take that left leg with you. And lower. Right. And lower. Everything lifts. And take your hands to heart center. Beautiful work there. Beautiful, beautiful work. Take a moment, let the hands drop down. And let the breath just settle here for a moment. Let the breath just settle. Just notice how you feel. Notice how you feel in the toes and the feet. Legs, hips, belly, ribs, and chest, the back, the shoulders, the arms, the throat, the neck and the head. Take a deep breath. Beautiful work. So we're going to stand now. We'll use the chair here, but from a standing posture. So go ahead and take your chair off to your right side. So you can use your right hand on the chair for support. You can take your left hand to the left hip. You're going to really anchor down through that right foot, a little bend in the knee, right? You don't want to lock the knee out, but a little micro bend, but the muscles are strong. And it's really a practice in getting to know what activation feels like in our muscles, right? It's kind of something that you'll start to learn what that feels like for you with practice and time. So if you're not quite sure, that's okay, right? So now we're going to just gently come on to the toes of the left foot. And maybe this is enough for you. This might be quite a balance challenge. For a little bit more sensation, you're going to start to bicycle the leg. So you're just rolling in one direction. Maybe you'll notice that there's a little wobble in the opposite leg. Use that chair for support. See if you can stay nice and tall and lifted here. Right? And maybe your leg is not lifting as high. Maybe you're lower. Maybe you're still here. Plenty of work. You're going to still reap the benefits. Right? And then reverse. So you're kind of kicking the leg up and back. Up and back, and I could feel my right leg kind of starting to wobble, and that little work sensation, right? The muscles are working, getting stronger. Can you breathe here? Remind the body that it's safe here. Beautiful. And slowly lower down. Take a moment here. Maybe you let your left palm face forward. Take a deep breath. Perfect. Now, stay here. You can move back into that bicycle movement, or you're going to just take your left knee out to the left and just notice that rotation in the hip, this external rotation. So that might be enough for you. A little more sensation. You can take the sole of the foot to the ankle, the shin, or the calf. Or if it's within your grasp, you can take the foot into the thigh. Okay? So remember, there's not one that's better than the other, but about taking what you need and breathing here. Right? Let that chin become parallel with the ground. Stand in your worthiness. Breathe into how enough you are in this moment, no matter what you're going through. Stand tall, strong. One more breath. Now you may notice that I've closed my eyes, but for some of you who are a little bit, you're still cultivating your balance, you would want to keep the eyes open and find a spot, one spot in front of you to focus on. So a spot that's unmoving, either on the floor in front of you or on the wall in front of you. Take a deep breath. And we'll slowly take that leg back in. Now we'll come to the other side. You can simply walk around your chair. I'm going to move this over to keep the chair in the frame. Perfect. Go ahead and take your hand to the chair for support. Take your time getting here. You're going to plant that left foot down. Really feel the foot, front toe ball mounds, the heel pressing. A little bend in the knee, but strong leg, strong leg. Kickstand your right foot, maybe right hand to the right hip. Open heart, right? Notice if you're rounding. Can you open up? Long neck. Deep breath. Now staying here, this is plenty of work, or bicycle out that leg, that right leg. Sun really came out. And if you're inside and you're not able to take in any of the sun today, visualize that sun. Visualize that sun beaming in. Visualize or imagine it kind of touching the skin. Okay, let's reverse when you're ready. You can always stop and take a break. Let the foot come down. Up, back, down. Drop the leg, take a moment. You can stay right here in this Tadasana pose, supported by the chair. Or you can come into your tree pose by externally rotating that right leg. So you're taking your right knee out to the right. This might be enough. Now it might not be all the way out to the right either. You're going to be really gentle with that hip joint, with that hip socket, right? So you're just going to find that this for you. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you let the foot come to the ankle, the shin, the calf, or into the thigh. Wherever you are, stand tall, breathe. Feel yourself supported by the chair. Such a beautiful reminder that we are supported, right? We're never alone. We're in this together. Take a deep breath. Deep breath. One more. Beautiful. When you're ready, we'll take the leg back to center and just take a moment to notice how we feel. Beautiful. Now you're going to just step behind the chair. I'm going to turn the chair this way so that you can just see from a different angle here. But you want to stand right behind the back of the chair. So take your time getting there. We're going to take our hands to the top of the chair. We're going to start to walk our feet back. And you'll notice that the chest starts to drop forward. We're just taking a little forward fold here. We're going to get to stretch into the shoulders and the chest. And so you're going to stop where it feels right. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're a little lower. Or maybe you're all the way down. Again, not one shape is better than the other. The most important thing to ask yourself is, can I breathe here? Is my breath flowing naturally in and out of the body? How can I support that flow of breath? And can I visualize the breath moving in the shape that I'm in? And to allow myself to open naturally. Take a few more breaths. If you need more sensation, you can always bend the knees and kind of pull the hips back as the chest drops down. You can also press your hands into the top of the chair. This is actually a great way to find stretch in the back body, in the shoulders and the chest by engaging muscles. So we're engaging and lengthening at the same time. Press down. Deep breath. Beautiful. Go ahead and step back with your left foot. Let's find that runner's lunge. So you get to choose how far you step back. The shorter the stance, less sensation. The farther back you go, the greater sensation. Not one better than the other. Just what do you need? What feels right for you? Where do you feel stable? Where can you breathe? You're going to let the heel gently work its way towards the ground. It doesn't have to touch. Mine doesn't. Right? That's just the direction that it's moving in. You can use the chair for support. It might feel good to lift one arm at a time. Take a deep breath. When you're ready, slowly come back up. We'll come right to the other side. Notice this side is different, so you might be a little bit shorter, you might be wider here. Right, sit up nice and tall, maybe one arm rises. And then the other. Perfect, one more breath. And slowly come back up to center. Let's make our way back into the chair. So go ahead and find yourself in your seat. There we go. Make sure you're stable as you sit. One last move here to kind of balance out the rest of the moves that we've done. Let's go ahead and take our right heel, kind of press it down into the ground, and just let your left knee come out to the side. So again, you might be here, here. There's a whole spectrum a range of motion that you get to choose from. And again, this is one of the things that I love about this practice, is that you start to be given opportunities to make good choices for yourself and to say, like, yes, I make good choices. I know what my body needs. I know what I need. I think that's really important. Every time we pull our bodies out of pain, out of harm's way, the body remembers that, and it's a beautiful relationship that we start to build. Take your left hand to the inside of the left leg. Press your hand into the leg, leg into hand. Sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. Beautiful. Let's come to the other side. Take your left leg in, right leg out. Press down through the left heel. Take your hand into the leg, leg into hand. Deep breath. Sit up nice and tall. One more breath. When you're ready, come back to center. I think I said that was the last move, but we are going to do one more. Okay, we're going to start to come forward. You're going to take your left forearm on top of your thighs. So if you're unable to make your way all the way forward here, you might have a pillow underneath you. You might have a yoga block or some books or a rolled up blanket to give you height. Otherwise, you're going to take your left forearm to your thighs. It doesn't have to be to the knees, it could be up higher. But then you're going to let yourself lengthen out through the crown of the head and let your right arm drop down. So really let that opposite arm drop down. Now maybe you stay here, or you can start to open up to the side. Take a deep breath. Lower. One more. Lift. And lower. Beautiful. Roll up. Roll your shoulders. Other side. Shoulders melt down the back. Right forearm to the hands, or maybe you're stacked up on your props. Right? Don't be afraid to use those props. You're going to let the left arm start to hang down. Maybe you stay here, or you can find that twist. You're kind of pressing the right hand into the legs as the arm rises. And lower. Lift. And lower. One more. Lift. And lower. Beautiful. Roll up. Arms rise. Hands to heart center. Our final resting posture. Take your hands to the thighs. Sink back into your chair. Get really relaxed. Maybe the hands come down to the sides if that feels better. Another option is to come down onto the ground. Take your legs up the chair, right? So that's an option too. Wherever you land, right? You're just getting into a final comfortable space to close out your practice. And wherever you are, see if you can close your eyes now. See if you can close your eyes. Take 3 full deep breaths. Relax the toes, the feet, ankles, legs, hips, glutes, belly, ribs and chest, the whole back, shoulders, arms, hands, the throat, the back of the neck, the jaw, cheeks and eyes, back of the head and top of the head. The whole body softens and you let your mind settle on your breath. And the way that you watch the ocean tide move in and out, those waves rolling in and out, watch your breath. Trace it as you breathe in, follow it as it moves out. Every exhale, softening the body a little bit more, a little heavier into the chair. Friends, you can stay here as long as it feels right for you. Really, the practice of yoga is to get us to this space of stillness, to that space where we can just breathe and know that that's enough, where we can listen to that small, still voice within. Take your time here. If you are ready to come back, can take some fuller, deeper breaths. Find little movements in the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles. Start to flutter the eyes open. Maybe you reach out, nice big stretch. And we'll close by drawing our hands to heart center. We'll take a moment to honor all of the teachers who have come before us, who have carved this path, who have shared these sacred practices. Know that I am honored to be your student, an eternal student. Namaste. I hope you guys can take some of these practices with you, use them throughout the day. Let me know how they made you feel. Share in the comment box or feel free to reach out through Facebook Messenger. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you all soon. Bye.